Hello everyone, this is Puka and welcome to the first edition of Bad Deck Monday with XY Flashfire, and of course, it's Flashfire. We have to use something with Mega Charizard EX. Of course, there are two different ones, so hey, let's just try to use them both. Why not? Let's take a look at them right now. The first one we have here, the Fire type Mega Charizard EX. 220 HP, and it has the mighty attack Crimson Dive. 300 damage. That is completely unnecessary, but it's sure going to knock out just about everything. It does cost 2 fire, 3 colorless energy. That is a very hefty attack cost, and it also has to Mega Evolve to come into play, meaning you have to lose a turn just to Mega Evolve it, which is why it's on Bad Deck Monday, but Crimson Dive does 300 damage. That is ridiculous. So we're going to try to use this Charizard first. It also has the nasty drawback of doing 50 damage to itself, but they did print this nifty card, Protection Cube. Prevent all damage done to the Pokemon this card is attached to by attacks it uses. So it prevents recoil damage, basically. So now Crimson Dive won't do 50 to yourself, which is nice because, well, you don't want to have your Mega Evolution knocked out immediately after you attack. So Crimson Dive, I think this is the better Mega Charizard EX. Both of them are not very good, but this is the better one. The other one we have is the Dragon type Mega Charizard EX. For 2 fire, 1 darkness, and 2 colorless energy, we have Wild Blaze. Also 300 damage. This drawback, though, is infinitely worse, and we cannot do anything to prevent it. Discard the top 5 cards of your deck. Wow, that is really bad. Alright, but hey, it's Charizard, so we're going to try to use it. I'm just running as many Charizard EXs as I can. In this deck, we have 2 of this Charizard EX with Stoke. Flip a coin if heads, search for up to 3 basic energy cards and attach them to this Pokemon. It's actually not a bad attack, but it also leaves it as a giant target. Just sitting there with 4 energy after you use Stoke. And then Fire Blast, 120 damage, and then discard an energy attached to Charizard EX. We also have the other Charizard EX. This is probably a good card. Wing Attack and then Combustion Blast. I've done a video on this card already. We got 2 of these boys as well, but we want Mega Charizard to be the focus of this deck. Alright, so we have some role players here as well. Druddigon is not bad. Revenge, 20 plus 70 if one of your Pokemon was knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack on the previous turn. And this is good for knocking out things like Rayquaza EX and Black Kyurem EX. Anything weak to Dragon basically gets knocked out by a Revenge. So it just costs 2 energy, so it's a pretty darn good attack. We have 1 Victini for Victory Star. I guess the only reason I'm going to run this is for Stoke. Using an attack and getting Tails, and then having your turn end is very bad. So I want to use Victini with Stoke so we can try to get some energy into play. Celebi EX is kind of neat. We have Time Recall. Allows us to use attacks from our basic Pokemon. So if we Mega Evolve into one of these Mega Charizard EX, we can actually still use the lower stages, which is very nice considering I don't want to always use Wild Blaze to discard 5 cards from my deck anytime I attack. We have 1 Jirachi EX. Stellar Guidance is an awesome ability, allows us to search for a supporter card. There's one in specific that we're going to want to search for a lot, which I'll get to in a second. But then our final 2 Pokemon are Sigilyph and Suicune. Now, these Pokemon don't have the energy to attack in this deck, and that's fine. They're never meant to. The reason they're in here is for the ability Safeguard. Prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon by Pokemon EX. So we need to take a turn to Mega Evolve, which means we are a sitting duck for a turn because we have to waste that turn just to get our Mega Charizard in play. So on those turns, we just want Sigilyph or Suicune to be active so that Pokemon EX can't be aggressive and hurt us. That's all it is. We just want a wall up there for the turn we Mega Evolve, It might not always work, but it's worth it for the times that it will work. Alright, so those are the Pokemon. Let's take a look at how we plan to use them. Of course, we already saw Protection Cube for our Crimson Diver. We also have Hard Charm, a couple of those for the Dragon-type Mega Charizard EX, since Protection Cube doesn't do much there. Hard Charm, unfortunately, does not prevent self-damage. It's not like Eviolite. It's only damage done by an opponent's attack, so Hard Charm's not that great on the Crimson Dive Mega Charizard. So we run 2 Protection Cube and 2 Hard Charm. We also have a couple Fiery Torches in here. Discard a fire and then draw 2 cards. This works well with Blacksmith. Get 2 energy from your discard pile, or 2 fire energy from your discard pile, and attach them to one of your fire Pokemon. We only run 3 Blacksmith in this deck because I really can't see myself using 4 of them, and this is not going to be a speedy deck by any means. We have to take a turn to Mega Evolve. So this is not a Turbo Charizard deck. It's we're going to sit back and Mega Evolve and hope for the best. So just 3 Blacksmith, you could run 4. Doesn't really make that big of a difference, I don't think. We have a couple Professor's Letters to just search out the basic energy. This is good with Fiery Torch, also good with Blacksmith. You can also Ultra Ball, discard 2 cards, discard 2 fire to use Blacksmith. This allows us to search for a Pokemon. Archeops might not be that big of a deal, but might as well run Evo Soda anyway. This can help us use our Mega Evolutions better, since you can use Evo Soda to Mega Evolve. So this is just nice. You know, it's not like Ultra Ball where you have to discard cards that can end up being painful sometimes. Just a nice Evo Soda turns our Charizard into a Mega Charizard. Then we have our supporters, just 4 Juniper, 4 N, got a couple Skyla here, and then 1 Lysander as well. Pretty simple stuff right here. We have a Super Rod to shuffle in some stuff in case we want to get one of our Mega Charizards back, or some energy. Got a couple switches, you know, you never know when you need to get out of special conditions. And then 1 Tropical Beach as well, because again, this deck's going to be super slow, but we don't really need Tropical Beach in this deck, just something I throw in when I feel like the deck's going to be very slow. And here's 1 Dowsing Machine as well. Discard 2 cards and then get back a trainer card. So here we have it, a Mega Charizard deck. I gotta tell you, this deck is not very good by any means. Say what you want, this is just not going to ever be a competitive deck in my eyes. And it took me a while to find a game where I can actually show off Mega Charizard, but we found one. And here we go. I gotta tell you, I played a lot of games, and I got Mega Charizard out, and I was quickly met by Yveltal EX's Evil Ball, and I moved on to the next game. It's not pretty. So we're going up against Husky Eskimo here. Gonna start off very strong, Ultra Balling away to Fire Energy. Gonna search for another Charizard EX, and looks like we're going up against the Mewtwo EX. Mewtwo also gives this deck problem because Mega Charizard requires 5 energy to attack, and it's just downright ridiculous. I mean, X-Ball and Evil Ball from Yveltal EX do more damage for each energy attached to you, so your own energy ends up being your downfall. And having to attach 5 of them is it's just not good. Let me tell you, your Mega Charizards, even though they have 220 or 230 HP, you'll be surprised at how quickly they get knocked out by an X-Ball or an Evil Ball. Doesn't take very much energy at all. Especially with that Virbank, City Gym, and Hypnotoxic Laser adding 30 damage into the mix. It's just not pretty. Alrighty, so let's see. We got the Laser Virbank from my opponent. We see a Mewtwo EX with a Float Stone. Not sure what kind of a deck this is. Mewtwo can be splashed into just about any deck that's out there. We got a pretty decent start here with the Ultra Ball, discarding 2 fire, and then we got a second Charizard EX. I'm hoping to get a Mega Charizard out on the following turn just to get something going. And, get our Mega Evolution in play. And we just see a pass Now, ooh, I see I have a Blacksmith, but I want to Mega Evolve this turn, and I don't have any way to get my Mega Evolution, so I'm going to go ahead and use Jirachi EX to Stellar Guidance for a Skyla. And this will fetch me an Evo Soda, which will let me Mega Evolve, and then next turn, hopefully we can attack using that Blacksmith, going for maybe a turn 3 Crimson Dive. That would be my goal with this, which is actually the best start you can hope for with this deck. Turn 3 is the soonest you can attack with your Mega Evolutions, since you have to waste a turn Mega Evolving. You can only evolve on the second turn. So here we go, Evo Soda, Mega Charizard EX. Uh-oh, he's big and ready to go. Just a Blacksmith next turn, we can Crimson Dive. It just takes all of this setup, and then you can do 300 damage, probably once, and then get knocked out. But man, when you do that 300 damage, it is epic. We see a Juniper from my opponent, and an Enhanced Hammer. That's going to slow down Charizard quite a bit. That's a real bummer, actually. Alright, well, let's see what happens. If I top deck like a Switch, I could still switch in Blacksmith and DCE and Crimson Dive. There's an option. Otherwise, I'll probably just have to Blacksmith and live with it. And it looks like we top deck a Fiery Torch. Not helping because we don't have a Fire Energy in hand. So let's just go ahead with the Blacksmith over here. And I could attach the DCE to Mega Charizard, but I've seen my opponent plays Enhanced Hammer already. And I don't want it to be an even bigger target for like a Pokemon Catcher or Lysander. So I think I'm just going to hold on to that DCE and pass the turn after using the Blacksmith. Seems counterintuitive to not attach energy, but sometimes with Enhanced Hammer, it ends up being the right thing. What I feel like is going to happen is my opponent will probably use X-Ball and knock out Charizard EX, and then we can slam down that double colorless energy N and start going with the Crimson Dive. We have the Protection Cube as well. So this isn't actually all that bad. We see a couple Toxicroak EX on the bench. Those aren't too great against Mega Charizard. They have triple poison, but Mega Charizard doesn't care. He just does 300 anyway. And we do see the X-Ball for a knockout. And, alright, here we go. Double colorless onto that Mega Charizard. Protection Cube, and an N down to 4 for my opponent. 6 for me. And here we go. Crimson Dive. 300 damage. That is almost double the amount of HP Mewtwo EX even has. Goodbye, Mewtwo. And Mega Charizard's at full health here. Oh, man. He's going to take down at least 2 EXs, I would think. This is big. If he can take down 2 EXs, he's actually kind of worth it. It's worth, using that turn to Mega Evolve if we can take 4 prizes with it. And we just see the triple poison from Toxicroak EX. Hey, I have 2 switches in my hand. We can get right out of that. And might as well. And we're going to be able to Crimson Dive once again. That's crazy. So we have a double switch here, and we're going to go ahead and play the Juniper. Might as well just do that. I have an Ultra Ball. Let's get rid of an N, and probably a Fiery Torch as well. Just get another Charizard into play. Get that Charizard EX. Gotta say, I don't really like the Stoke one very much. Combustion Blast is far better. But now you see we have all 3 attacks at our disposal because of Celebi EX and another Crimson Dive. 300 damage, taking down Toxicroak EX. Oh my goodness, can Mega Charizard be stopped? I don't know. He has 5 energy, he's raring to go. There's an N. It's going to put me down to 2 cards. See, Professor's Letter and a Tropical Beach. Oh, an Enhanced Hammer. Yeah, that'll put a stop to Mega Charizard. Alright, we see the triple poison once again. That'll put 3 damage counters on me. I draw Blacksmith, and surprisingly there are no fire energy in my discard pile. So that's kind of worthless. Yeah, kind of strange, honestly. I would think there would be some fire in there, but I guess not. So I'm going to go ahead and Professor's Letter for 2 energy here. I'm going to do a Darkness energy. since those are probably going to be worthless at this point. I don't really plan on, well, I might have to Mega Evolve to the other one if this active Mega Charizard goes down. But I think I'm just going to attach to the active, the Darkness Energy right there. And I'm just going to go ahead and Combustion Blast. Might as well just soften it up. Could do 150 damage, so Celebi EX definitely coming into play there. And, you know, this opens up a play where I can Lysander the Toxicroak later and finish it off with something weaker like a Druddigon or just, I guess, Fire Blast from Charizard EX. So we're just setting ourselves up here for success. And, whoa, my opponent just retreats into Toxicroak EX, and that means it is time for a Crimson Dive. 300 damage for the third time. And this one Mega Charizard sweeps through my opponent thanks to Protection Cube. Shout out to Protection Cube for keeping me alive. Wow. And I guess that's what happens when Mega Charizard is not dealt with. It does knock out everything. It's just a matter of surviving. And you can see we did 1,050 damage thanks to those huge Crimson Dive attacks. And it's a powerful card. If it survives, it goes crazy, it knocks stuff out. But I gotta tell you, it hardly ever survives. This was definitely an unusual game. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and Mega Charizard, I will certainly have some more videos for you guys soon. I am Puka from the Top Cut, and I'll see you guys next time.